Alright, so we're going to get into a new group of data types here called the sequence types. And there are 7 sequence types: strings, Unicode strings, lists, tuples, byte arrays, buffers, and X-range objects. We're going to be discussing 4 of those types in this course. 4 types are the strings and the Unicode strings. We're going to group those together in one. We'll talk about the lists, and we'll talk about tuples. Those are the major sequence types that you use almost all the time. The other ones are more for intermediate and advanced type usage, and they're not used quite as often. Let's just dive right in and start talking about strings. Now, strings next to numbers are used almost all the time. Anytime you want to display any information or write any actual English to the, or whatever language you're dealing with, if you want to write something to the screen that the user can actually understand, you're most likely dealing with strings. So string literals can be enclosed in matching single quotes or double quotes. And anything that you put inside of a single quote or double quote will be a string. So let's just look here. We can go bat and hit enter, and that's going to show up as a string. You know it's a string because there's quotes around it. And the double quote is the exact same way, but it will print to the screen the same as we did before. So double quote shows this with the single quotes here. And you don't have to really worry about these single quotes being different from these double. This is just how the Python shell is going to show you that it is a string. So don't worry about that too much. Just know that you can either do single quotes or double quotes. And the real purpose for that is if you want to stick some sort of a quote inside of the string. So if I want to do a single quote in the string, I could do this: double quotes outside, bat, single quotes, then an S, and that would be a legal string because that single quote is part of the string and the enclosed quotes are doubles. The problem is if you don't do that and you do this, what happens is it closes off the string here with that quote, but then it has this trailing S and it doesn't know what that is, and then it has also this trailing single quote there, and it has no idea what that's for because there's no pair to it. So if we hit enter, you'll get a syntax error, and actually both those things would be invalid. This would actually be some sort of a naming error if the quote wasn't there because it doesn't know what S is, and the quote is the actual syntax error. Next we're going to be looking at the triple quotes. So having 3 single or 3 double quotes actually allows you to do strings as well. So we can do that. So we have bats, and it's just going to show up just like this, okay, as a string. The next thing we're going to talk about is if you have those triple quotes, you can actually do new line and other types of things, and it's going to maintain that. So I can do triple quote, I can do new line, and bats are fun, and then triple quotes, and it still does it, only it inserts at the new line this new line character set, which is \n, right? And then it says bats are fun, \n, because there's a new line for this string. If you try to do that with just a single quote or a double quote, you get an error. So if I even try and do enter to do a new line, I get it automatically an error. So you can only do that with the triple quotes. That's why they're sort of powerful. The next thing here is something that we'll just touch on here, but I'm going to do a whole video on. It's the / character is used to escape characters that otherwise have a special meaning, such as new line, / itself, or the quoted character. So this is an example of that. When you're doing new line, you actually use the / here to sort of say that this is a special character and don't display it in the string, but actually do what it's meant to do. Or in some cases you have a character that might be harmful to run some Python code, and you want to escape that character so it's not actually going to do anything, it's going to be treated as a string. Then we're going to have the literals may have an optional prefix with the letter R. So if you put R before your string literal here, so you have like some sort of a string called bat, and you have the R in front of it, all it means is this is going to be a raw string. Now, raw string is another topic again, and it has to do with, you know, escaping characters. Only there are different rules for escaping a raw string than there are just a normal literal string. And the very last thing is if we have a prefix of U in front of the string. So I'll have bat, and all that means is that it's going to be creating a Unicode string instead of string. So that's one of our 7 types up here. We have Unicode string, and all that's going to do is just use the Unicode character set. And it's defined by the Unicode Consortium and the ISO 10646. So That's all the stuff I want to start on the strings. In the next video we'll talk about some of this backslash and escaping, and we'll see where it goes from there.